Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, June 19th. This is a meeting of the Council Rock School District Board of School Directors. Thank you for being patient. We needed to get some battery-powered lights in here, hence the half-hour delay. Some housekeeping notes. We are going to record this meeting and post the recording on the district website. We have Ms. Yoda Pally on the line, and because of the recording and because of the use of online technology, it's especially important that everyone in the gallery keep down any conversation. Please resist the temptation. We need as much quiet as possible. We are rearranging the agenda. Yeah, cell phones are good. We are rearranging the agenda to put finance matters up front because we're required by law to have a new state budget, by state law before the end of the month, which is another reason why we did not reschedule this meeting. Any other housekeeping notes?
Just when you speak, nice and loud, please, because we are going to, Callie is doing the recording tonight, so we don't have the audio around and the recording capability around the room. So if you don't mind, just nice and loud. And what we say in the elementary schools typically is use your inside voices. Tonight we want you to use your outside voices so that we can hear you and get you recorded. Please.
Wonderful, thank you, Dr. Sanko. Madam Secretary, could we have the roll call, please? Oh, we're jumping out of order. All right.
Mr. Roosevelt?
Here.
Ms. Stone?
Here.
Mr. Hidalgo?
Here.
Ms. Polly?
Here.
Mr.
Tate.
Present.
Ms. Oseki? Here. Mr. Hickey?
Here.
Ms. Khan?
Here.
Ms. Horner? Here. All present.
I would like to introduce you to Sophia Prechtel. Did I say that right?
Oh, Fricko.
Prechtel and McKenna Nungesser, two Council Rock High School North students who are going to grace us with their talent tonight on their first night of summer vacation. They're going to lead us in the pledge and sing the national anthem. Ladies.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for giving up some night. Here's a little something for you.
Thank you.
Dr. Sanko, the superintendent, report, if you would please.
Thank you, Mr. Tate. Welcome and good evening to the Board of School Directors, the staff, and community joining us tonight, and to those tuning in on the Council Rock YouTube channel. Thank you to Council Rock North students, Sophia and McKenna, for taking time from your summer break to lead us in the national anthem and the pledge. As we conclude the 2024-25 school year, we extend our heartfelt thanks to the students, staff, families, board members, and community for their steadfast support throughout the year. While we experienced both challenges, like tonight, and successes, what remained consistent was the meaningful growth and learning that has taken place in every Council Rock school. On Thursday, June 12th, we proudly recognized 906 graduates who now join the distinguished ranks of Council Rock alumni. This exceptional class earned more than $19 million in scholarships, grants, and other financial awards. We were fortunate to enjoy beautiful weather for our ceremonies and grateful to the entire community for honoring our graduates and supporting their families. Yesterday marked the final day of school for our 9,571 students in kindergarten through 11th grade. We wish them and their family a joyful, healthy, and safe summer break and look forward to welcoming everyone back in September for another exciting year of learning and discovery. And thank you to the many individuals who have helped make Council Rock a place of excellence. Our teachers, secretaries, nurses, trainers, administrators, bus drivers, aides, cafeteria staff, coaches, tutors, counselors, board members, and maintenance teams, and so many other folks. Your dedication and care embody our commitment to keeping students first always. There are many ways we celebrate accomplishments of our students, and tonight we're honored to recognize a group whose achievement exemplify perseverance, teamwork, and courage. We're thrilled to welcome the talented Council Rock Special Olympians to be recognized this evening. Each day, Special Olympics events take place around the world, enriching the lives of millions of individuals with disabilities, both on and off the field. This global movement now includes over 5.3 million athletes, unified partners, coaches, and volunteers, including many of our own Council Rock staff, teachers, and families who support these efforts with heart and dedication. Many of our own Special Olympians are here tonight with us to be recognized for their participation in the 2025 Bucks County Special Olympics track and field. We are deeply grateful to the staff and families whose ongoing support make these opportunities possible, and to our Olympians. We are proud and excited to have you with us tonight. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Al Oberman, Director of Special Services and Board President, Mr. Tate, to help celebrate Special Olympians and their teachers as we recognize them with a Certificate of Achievement. Mr. Tate, Dr. Oberman.
We just want to, I'm Samantha Julian, and this is Michelle McGill, and I'm at the high school, Michelle's in the elementary, and we work really hard all year to have this event come through in our PE classes. We want to thank Dr. Sanko and Al Oberman for letting us host this event every year. This year, Bucks County hosted 160, I believe, athletes across Bucks County, and Council Rock had a wonderful showing. So we want to honor the few students that were able to make it here. So we have John Akeku. Did I say that right? Come on up. Allison Bayak. She wasn't this shy at her events, I promise. Jaden Mannon.
Can I get my Thank you. Where's mine? Now you can come up. Come on, we're gonna go back this way, okay? We're gonna come back this way. We're gonna look back here.
Tori Seda. And Neil Phillip. want to say congratulations to everyone who wasn't able to make it, because I know the storm made it so people take it out. We didn't miss anybody, right?
Congratulations.
Taking a quick picture.
Yes. Yep.
Can we ask the board members to come up for a picture, please, if you wouldn't mind?
It's all squeezed together.
Anybody that wants to take a picture, come on up.
Anybody else want it? Oh.
Moms and dads, you can get closer.
Yeah, it's a little dark. It's a little dark, but it's gonna do. The sentiment is there.
Last month, we celebrated the retirements of two valued high school assistant principals. One at Council Rock High School North, Mr. Nate Scott, and one at Council Rock High School South, Mr. Scott Lair, as well as the elevation of a third to the role of principal at Council Rock High School South, Mr. Anthony Benziello. Following a rigorous and thorough interview process, I am pleased to submit 3 outstanding candidates for the board to consider approving this evening. At Council Rock High School North, 2 assistant principals were created when Mr. Benziello was promoted and the retirement of assistant principal Nate Scott. We are proud to recommend to the board Mr. Dave Boel, who is no stranger to Council Rock, for one of these positions. Dave has been a member of the Council Rock team since 2007 and currently serves as a teacher and our secondary English language arts curriculum coordinator. He holds degrees from Cabrini University and Bloomsburg University. Congratulations, Dave, and thank you to you and your family for being here tonight. We welcome you to your new role. Joining Dave on the administrative team at Council Rock North is Miss Erin Meehan Mariano. Erin comes to us from the Lehigh Valley Charter High School for the Arts. She holds degrees from Kutztown University and Holy Family University. She is currently pursuing her doctorate at Welch University. We're excited to welcome you, Erin, and thank your husband for joining you tonight. We'd like to welcome you to the Council Rock team. Rounding out tonight's consideration for appointments is Mr. Pete Ranella. Pete will join the Council Rock High School South administrative team upon the retirement of Assistant Principal Mr. Scott Lair. Pete brings experience from the Wilson West Lawn School District in West Lawn, PA. Pete has had 26 years in public education and holds degrees from Alvernia University, Kutztown University, and Lock Haven University. Pete and his wife are here tonight and their son. Welcome aboard, Pete. Pending board approval, we are thrilled to welcome these 3 accomplished educators to the Council Rock family and proudly recommend them to the board for consideration. Reminders for parents that will help you as you prepare for the upcoming school year, even though it may seem far off. In our food services department, our point of sale system is changing to My School Bucks. The new system will be in place for the 2025-2026 school year. More information is available on our website and will be mailed to our families throughout the summer. Summer is a time when many children may not have access to free and reduced price meals they get during the school year, and households might need a little extra help putting meals on the table. The Pennsylvania Department of Human Services is sponsoring Sunbucks. It's a grocery benefit program that provides one-time payment of $120 for each eligible child to buy food while school is out. You can learn more about Sunbucks on our website at www.crsd.org. And finally, please check out the Council Rock opening page on our website where we have posted information about My School Bucks and Sunbucks programs, along with school summer contact information and the 2025-2026 academic calendar. Important dates to note: July 4th, all offices will be closed. July 10th, there will be a Finance and Facilities meeting, 7 p.m. at Chancellor Center. July 17th is a Board of School Directors meeting, 7 p.m. Monday, August 4th, we have a policy meeting scheduled for 7 p.m. Thursday, August 7th, Facilities Committee meeting, 7 p.m. Thursday, August 14th, a Finance Committee meeting, 7 p.m. Thursday, August 21st is a Board of School Directors meeting at 7 p.m. I know the students don't want to hear this yet, but Tuesday, September 2nd is the first day of school for students in grades K through 6 and grade 7 and grade 9. And Wednesday, September 3rd, will be the first day of school for all students grades K to 12. This is a reminder that for reliable, accurate, and up-to-date information about our district, please refer to resources, websites, and social media platforms managed by the Council Rock School District. We urge the community to be discerning in choosing where to obtain information, and to be aware that unauthorized social media accounts use the Council Rock name to post inaccurate or misleading information regarding district matters. If you question what you see, need additional information, or require a reliable fact check, please contact our district directly. We can be found at www.crsd.org. This concludes the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanko. Mr. Misso, solicitor's report, please.
Thank you. I have nothing public to report. My solicitor's report, the board has a written report. I do want to note that the board met an executive session on June 5th for a personnel matter and on June 9th for labor relations.
Thank you very much. We move on to public comment. I don't have anyone signed up for public comment. If there is anyone from the public who wishes to comment now, please step forward. There will be a second public comment session at the end of the meeting. This one is confined to agenda items. Since there's no one wishing to speak, we'll move on to approval of the minutes of the meeting of the board on May 15th. Ms. Stone, would you read the motion, please?
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting of the school board directors held on May 15th, 2025.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Oseki. Are there any objections, comments, questions?
Just a point,
Sir.
the minutes are not in the package, right? So we're going to have to be there before?
Correct.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Hearing no objection, Madam Secretary, please record that motion is passing unanimously. I mentioned at the outset of the meeting that we are required by state law to have a new budget approved before the end of this month. For that reason and some other important items on the Finance Committee agenda, we're going to move forward with Finance Committee first before we lose our limited battery-powered lights. Do any board members object to rearranging the agenda accordingly? Okay. Thanks you all for coming. Have a good evening. So we will begin with the Finance Committee.
Okay. The Finance Committee met on June 9th. We've had a lengthy agenda, including insurance renewals, and I would encourage anyone interested to watch the Finance Committee meeting on YouTube. Not, the power's on. The power comes back. I do want to bring to your attention that tonight we will be voting on next year's budget and on a new 5-year teacher contract. I want to thank Ms. Khan, Ms. Stone, and Ms. Horner for representing our board in our contract negotiations, as well as Dr. Sanko, Tony Rapp, and Ronnie Spring for working with our teachers to create a new contract favorable to the teachers and the school district. In particular, we believe this new contract will make it easier for the district to attract new teachers, both at the entry level and teachers who may wish to transfer to Council Rock from other districts. The budget we will be voting on tonight contains a 2.93% tax increase for the school district. This accounts for 8.8 additional teaching positions and 1.5 additional non-teaching positions. The teaching positions include 2 middle school literacy specialists, 4 elementary literacy specialists, and 2.8 teaching positions at the high schools. The additional non-teaching positions are an additional shipper and receiver at the high school and a 0.5% payroll position to ensure stability in the payroll office. I want to thank Mr. Rapp and his team for working on this budget and for continuing to set the district up for success and stability in the future. With that, I move to approve consent agendas items B through BD as contained in the attachments to this agenda.
Mr. Rosen, before this is seconded, I would like to pull M from the consent.
Okay, let me turn to that page and,
That's the approval of the textbooks.
okay,
I would like a roll call for that.
all right. Then, Ms. Oseki, would you amend your motion, please?
Okay. I move to approve consent agenda items B through L and N through VP.
You have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Bond. Are there questions, comments, objections to the consent agenda items? Hearing
The
none?
budget,
Sir?
the budget's not part of it.
No, it is not.
Okay.
The budget follows. And so the same with the CREA agreement. All right. Hearing no objections, Madam Secretary, please record that motion is passing unanimously. So let's consider item N, the approval of textbook contracts. Let's make the motion and then we can have a discussion. Ms. Oseki, please.
I move to approve consent agenda, or I guess not consent, agenda item M as contained in the attachment to this agenda.
I would suggest the motion, I believe, reads, I move to approve the contract with.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, that's fine. So you.
I move to approve the contract with HMH Into Literature for grades 6, 7, and 8, subject to solicitor's review and audit.
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. All right, Ms. Rosen.
Thanks very much. I asked that this was pulled, because there are a lot of textbooks. And, this is something I think is important to the education of the community. The issue that I have is with the history textbooks, specifically American Civilization by Savvas, S-A-V-V-A-S. A quote from their homepage of their website reads, "History is more than the story of the past. It's the chronicle of people, their decisions, emotions, and viewpoints. Our award-winning U.S. History Interactives brings a modern lens to history." I disagree with this. History must be studied in the context of its time. As a history major, that's just what I was taught. And it must also be taught through the lens of the time being studied, which is what context means. History is a study of the time, the people, the events, and through the lens of their day. We're not mind readers of each other's today. To view the emotions or viewpoints of historical figures through the lens of today would be incorrect at best and arrogant at worst. Today, we struggle to understand our opponent's emotions and viewpoints, let alone those that we agree with. How could we succeed with a historical figure through the lens of modern times? Because, current events is another issue. Because current events become history after enough time has passed to dull the emotions of political perspectives. The more sensitive subjects perhaps deserve a little bit more time needed. One recent example that I think is applicable is the JFK assassination attempt occurring during November of 1963. Some of those files are still national secrets. Others have been released more recently, but much has been withheld for decades. So This history book, I think at its understanding, is missing the ability to both converse or recognize current events as different from history, and is not studying history through the context of time. And in some cases, while it does produce or include firsthand accounts, it doesn't always include multiple firsthand accounts from opposing positions. So I just have a fundamental problem with this history textbook and the company that produces it for the reasons that I've indicated. So I will be in no.
Other comments, questions? Mr. Dodd?
I'm gonna support Mr. Roosevelt's points, most of it.
Ms. Stone?
Yeah, I understand your comments. However, I did review a good part of that history book and thought that it was very well written and presenting the historical events. It actually started from Restoration through, I believe, 2020. And the discussion, the book is designed to develop critical thinking in the kids by reviewing primary source information. So looking at the actual primary sources and then having a discussion on what that means. How else can you look at it but through today's eyes? I don't know how else we can look and understand and review something. So I think it's very well done. I purchased the teacher's version, so I also got to see how the teachers are guided in guiding the kids to look at these primary sources and develop an understanding what they mean, what they meant at the time, what they mean today. And, you know, I thought it was an excellent review of history, and I would be supporting purchase of the book, which has been supported by the history department. They were reviewed, they've been, the books were, how do you put it, they were already approved last year. They were brought into the schools and piloted already. So, you know, I'm very much in favor of moving forward with those books.
Ms. Oseki?
Sure, I would just kind of echo that. I mean, we did have a pilot, and I think that is the purpose of a pilot, is to allow the teachers to work with the materials and the students to review the materials. To my knowledge, there's not been any negative feedback about these textbooks, and the administration recommended them for approval, so I'll support that.
Okay. Mr. Hickey?
Yeah, as a history major in college as well, I concur with Mr. Roosevelt's opinions. I also had a chance to read through the book, and there were some issues, especially in the current events, which, as Mr. Roosevelt alluded to, if it's a current event, it's not necessarily history, or it's recent history. I agree with many of the statements. I had some issues as well with some of the things I saw in the book as related to current history, and I will also be
I guess in terms of, the book was also out for a public review for 30 days back after our, I believe it was in the March Education Committee when it was presented by Ms. Tammy Gary. And the history department from both high schools came and presented, talked about how great the textbook was, the need for an updated version of the history book where our current students in high school studying, it also correlates to their, furthering education, their AP programs and requirements as they move along through their high school careers. So, I mean, I very much echo what Ms. Stone and Ms. Oseki have stated, and I would be in support of this textbook. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Ms. Polly, do you have any comment or question on the textbook purchase?
No, as people said, you went through the review and you went through the school, so I liked specifically Stone's comment because she read the book and she feels very comfortable that this encourages critical thinking for our students, and this is what we want to do. We want to make sure that our students become critical thinkers and they just don't follow somebody's record of history. So I'm okay with approving the book.
Thank you, Ms. Polly. If there are no other comments or questions, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Roosevelt?
No.
Ms. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Hidalgo?
No.
Mr. Tate?
Yes.
Ms. Oseki?
Yes.
Mr. Hickey?
No.
Ms. Khan?
Yes.
Ms. Horn?
Yes.
Ms. Polly?
Yes.
That is 6-3. Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes by a vote of 6-3. I'm pleased that the board has agreed to approve the personnel actions contained in this agenda and the personnel actions addendum as part of the consent agenda. Dr. Sanko.
So, thank you to our school board for that approval a few minutes ago. Aaron, Dave, and Pete, welcome to the Council Rock administrative team. And I want to thank our Council Rock High School principals and assistant principals for being here tonight. So Pete, Aaron, and Dave, if you don't mind, come up, bring your families, bring your colleagues, and we're going to have Ms. Mangle get a picture of you. Congratulations, welcome back.
Do that first.
Let's get board members in too.
Very much.
All right, I would tell you to go get ice cream, but they're probably closed. See ya, thank you. Let me keep Pete, let me keep Dave, let me keep Aaron.
Did we get the administrators all together?
All the principals.
That's it. I was like, I don't know.
Somebody else can.
I'll go to that section.
Well, Dave and Andy switch. I mean, Andy, you should be in the middle. You and Al. Wait, you're on the wrong side.
Dave, sorry.
There you go. Andy Hamilton.
We don't have any openings this afternoon.
All right, smile, folks. This is perfect. Thank you.
Not fast enough. Gotta be a rainbow now, right?
Man, I just figured we'd bring back that. Oh my God, every day, I say it before.
Well, that was nice. We're gonna move on with the remaining items on the finance committee agenda. We have item CC, the approval of the agreement between Council Rock Education Association and Council Rock School District. Give a second, would you read the motion, please?
I move to approve the agreement between Council Rock Education Association and the Council Rock School District as contained in the attachment.
Ms. Khan, second. Floor is open for comments, questions.
I have many great relationships with all the teachers. There's so many great things that they've done, through the time, about 11 years that I've been a parent in the school district. Very invaluable. We can never actually compensate our teachers enough for the amount of work, dedication, and blood, sweat, and tears, and it's a pretty emotional job most of the time. So I take that aspect out of it when I'm looking at it from a budgetary standpoint or from a fiscal standpoint, and have to look at crunching the numbers and doing what I do when it comes to financial planning and things like that. And there are restraints that we put on ourselves that every organization does. So, but I wanted to start by saying, we can never pay our teachers enough, so to speak. When I would go knocking on doors for the last 2 elections that I would do that, thousands of, about 1,000 plus houses every term. A lot of them, one that stands out would say, you can never pay them enough. Well, what is it, like 150 to 200? I mean, we can never pay teachers enough. People want to support the teachers. So when we talk about collective bargaining, you can never pay teachers enough, period. They earn every penny that and plus some that they earn. So when I look at the budget, which I think these are kind of tied together for me, especially in years when there's a collective bargaining session going on, and this is where we get to make the biggest impact as board members and being fiscally responsible. We are at knees under the table with the organizations trying to negotiate a great contract that's fair and equal on both sides. And I think that this contract probably achieves that. I think a lot of people believe that, and that's great. I think a lot of people are happy. Even I'm happy for the contract that's up for vote tonight. And then I'll go on to move to my next comment, which was kind of about, we have a constraint that we've been talking about since I've been on the board. It's kind of developed that I try to keep at a 2% base, and 2% base increase on our taxes, so that we just know that this is, but people can anticipate this is what they're going to get and live within those means. And in years where we don't make it, then you can talk, basically when we have a deficit, then you can look at, well, next year maybe we need to, make that up with a higher tax increase, or if there's capital improvement planning we have to do, I understand that. But this year was more of a hold the line. We've been doing the tax increases and ending with surpluses for the last few years, significant surpluses. We've been moving that money around into different places. So our capital, what's it called? The
Capital plan.
No, not the capital plan, the capital reserve and the other budget reserve we have, has gone down because we've moved the money around. But, basically, the 2% is where I drew the line saying we need to work at that. I added a 0.5% for the kindergarten so that I would be okay with the 2.5%. And now we're just under 3%, so I'm looking to make up that $800,000, $900,000 to stay within my parameters to be fiscally responsible. And when the collective bargaining comes around, that's really the biggest piece that we can use to negotiate. And so now I have to counter what I'm saying, like, how do we do that? And we could have negotiated that money spread out amongst the whole base, but that wasn't done. So I'm sticking to what I originally asked, proposed to, and we'll be voting no to both the budget and the collective bargaining agreement, not because I don't think the teachers deserve every penny they're going to get, but that we are moving outside of the parameters that I think I've set and have been stated publicly for 5 years. So I'll try to keep it short to that for now. Thank you.
Mr. Adair. Ms. Swan.
Thank you. I want to share a note that a parent shared yesterday and said she would be honored for me to share with the public. This parent shared her child ended their time at a certain elementary school in our district and would be starting middle school in the fall. She thanked all the teachers and staff, especially the learning support team, for helping her child to see this through. These certain teachers recognize not only the struggles, but also the talents of their students and help them shine. Her child is going to start middle school, a confident student who loves to learn, and thanks to the dedication and patience of the teachers. This is only one note that I am reading. However, there are so many more about our super teachers and staff, so thank you. I had the honor to be a part of this negotiating process. It was an amazing learning experience, as well as a great to sit around a table with good people. There were many, many days and hours beyond hours spent listening and understanding of the needs and wants of both sides. This district has amazing staff who care to educate and move the educational needle on every student and who lived students first always. I want to thank Dr. Sanko, Mr. Rapp, and Mr. Spring for moving this negotiation along and for collaborating with the team to come to an agreement. I request any future contract negotiations to be with a seasoned, knowledgeable labor contract solicitor who only works in labor contracts, as this could have saved this district thousands of dollars. We have excellent teachers in this district who we need to retain, as well as we need to recruit to fill these open positions with the best qualified. This agreement will surely be achieved on both these objectives. Thank you, and I will be looking forward to voting yes for the teacher's contract.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Mr. Hickey.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the people that were involved in the negotiations on both sides. It's never easy. When I first moved into this, going back to history, there was a labor problem here, back in early 2000s. So I know what it's like and the disruption that it can cause. I really appreciate Mr. Rapp, Mr. Spring, the inventive ways that you decided to negotiate this at the end. Thinking outside the box, as it were, which is the same thing that we ask of our teachers, to do things differently. And I know this agreement is something that, you approve of, you recommended it to us. Some of the things that I really like about it is we've talked now for a number of months, and everybody knows that there is a potential teacher shortage. You know, everybody says, well, you know, maybe not in Council Rock, but in other places, but we still need to attract teachers that are coming out of college. And this contract, in my opinion, will at least accomplish that, so that these kids that are coming out of college, instead of maybe choosing another career or another path, will choose to teach and be willing to start out at a place where they know that they can move up in time. The other feature that I really liked about it is the fact that we can now attract teachers from other districts who have some experience under their belts. Not that you want to go poaching, and our teachers, everybody gets poached in different sides of the belt, but this is a great district. And it's hard to attract teachers from other districts to come in here when they know that they have to start at the bottom, when they've already been teaching for 5, 10, 15 years. There's many great teachers in other districts as well, and this is a way to possibly attract some of those teachers. I actually recognized in, like I said, I know there's teachers in other districts who would love to come here, but they said, I can't start at the bottom. And this, while it doesn't allow them to, they don't necessarily come in at the top or where they were, it allows them a middle ground to come in and add to the great staff that we already have. Like I said, from what I see, it's a win-win, which is what everybody likes. I guess sometimes when you say everybody's mad at you, you're doing a good job, but in this particular case, when everybody is reasonably happy, so am I. The cost of the district, as Mr. Hidalgo points out, as it relates to the budget, in my opinion, is doable. And it works, and it gives labor peace for 5 years, which is very comforting to know, because of my time on the board, this is already the second time I've gone through this, so this is something that hopefully won't have to be worried about for another 5 years, and I also plan on voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hickey. Ms. Conlon.
Thank you, Mr. Day. I was also, along with Ms. Warner and Ms. Stone, had the privilege to be part of the negotiations team representing the school board and our community. I wanted to first thank the administration, Mr. Sprang, Mr. Rabb, Dr. Zango, the CREA Executive Committee that were in attendance along with the negotiating team, and our solicitor, Peter Amuso, who was there to negotiate. It was exactly what we stated. It was a negotiation. We went in there and we spent many hours, long hours, listening and going back and forth, and as Ms. Warner had alluded to, it was a huge learning experience, and I feel thankful and grateful to have that opportunity. In regards to some of the things that I think are of note, I believe Mr. Hickey already alluded to a few of them. This is a 5-year contract which provides not only stability for our district for the next 5 years, where we could focus on the education of our students and the path forward for our district, but also allows financial planning for our district as well, as Mr. Rapp has presented in our meetings. There is a national and state shortage of teachers. Council Rock has been recently named, I believe was number 40 in the state as a school district. I know that's a few steps up from the previous year. I know we want to continue to improve that rating and that ranking. Some of that we know has to deal directly with our staff and our teachers that we have in the great district of Council Rock. We talked about being competitive. How do we, attract new teachers, and how do we retain our teachers? And part of that, I believe, we will achieve through this new negotiations that we have come to terms with. I, for one, think everyone did a great job. Feel that everyone is happy, considering, and I will be supporting not only the budget as well as the negotiations. Thank you.
Mr. Roosevelt.
Thank you. Teachers are important, and a lot of work was done. That can't be taken away. I think it's very important. There are some things in this contract that I like, and there's some things that I would have liked to have seen in the contract. So just for some comparative purposes, according to the U.S. Census website, Bucks County, PA, which I understand Council Rock is a fraction of, median household income is $112,000. That persons per household, the same website estimates at 2.57. So 3 people effectively, or 2.5 if we want to figure it that way, in all of Bucks County, median make 112. The per capita income per individual for Bucks County is $57K. So Council Rock pushes that up a little bit, both Northampton and Newtown and some of the areas that we have within here, push those numbers up a little bit. But, you know, according to governmentsalaries.com, the average teacher in 2024 for Council Rock earned $107,000. So this demonstrates that more teachers are on the higher end of the pay schedule. The point that I'm trying to make is a cautionary tale of a comparison between the amount that a teacher makes versus the amount families make that send their kids to be taught. As history has shown us, in some cases, some people will surrender their parental rights, and others may usurp parental rights, believing that they're more educated and therefore they know what's best for their kids. I'm concerned that we're getting close to that, and I don't want to see that happen in Council Rock. I agree with Mr. Hidalgo, teachers earn, they earn everything that they get, and it would be wonderful if we could have a rising tide lift all boats. But we are in this situation where, you know, it's a significant comparison between the teachers and the parents and the families that send their kids to Council Rock. So that's a cautionary element. It would be wonderful if everybody would contribute and we wouldn't have this disparity between families and between teachers. I would love to even pay teachers more than what this contract does, but there has to be a point at which point that we recognize as board members, we are fiduciarily very responsible for both the education as well as the funding at Council Rock. So for these reasons, I will be a no for the teacher's contract.
Are there other comments?
I guess I'll start by going back to, as Mr. Hidalgo did when I was canvassing for school board and knocking on doors and meeting people and speaking about Council Rock. And it's clear that we have amazing teachers, and it's clear that our teachers are the backbone of the district. Families, time and time again, said that to me. Council Rock students deserve the best. And when we went in to negotiate this teacher's contract, the 2 areas that concerned me the most personally, and as Mr. Hickey alluded to, I think he's in agreement, one was that the starting salary was not high enough to compete with other districts in the area for new teachers. If Council Rock students deserve the best, we need to pay competitively so that we can get the best teachers right out of school. And then the other problem was that teachers who might want to move to Council Rock would lose their tenure, for lack of a better term. They would have to start at the beginning of the salary scale. And that prevented the best teachers from leaving wherever they were teaching and joining Council Rock. So the 2 main concerns that I had have been addressed, I think, very well in this contract. And Council Rock students deserve the best. So I'll be voting yes.
Thank you, Ms. Maseki. Ms. Dunn.
Yes, I might as well speak. I'm the only one that hasn't said anything. I was also on the negotiating committee, and it was a learning experience, and it was wonderful to have Mr. Sango available to work through, give us a big historical perspective, having gone through this himself as a teacher. And it was also very helpful, and the public should know that Mr. Musso is very adept at keeping calm and common sense into the negotiating meetings. And I also want to note that, yes, I think the only way to improve the standard of living of all of our members of the community is by increasing the level of the education that we provide to our next generation. And I think that's critical. And I think that both sides of this negotiation had some wins and had some concessions that had to be made. We looked very carefully at our budget and what we thought we could afford. And I think we came back with a wonderful compromise, and I feel that it was actually a win-win for everyone, including especially our students. So I will be voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. Ms. Polly, would you like to comment?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I want to thank the negotiation team. Mr. Musso, who led the negotiation, Mr. Rabb and Mr. Spring being so creative, Dr. Sanko for stepping in at the right time, and also Ms. Connie Stone and Ms. Porter spending so many hours representing the board and giving us back feedback on what was going on. Council Rock is a great school district, and it's not because of our buildings, it's because of our teachers. So we have to be competitive in our hiring, and we have to be very competitive in maintaining our teachers. And I believe that this contract is going to achieve this. My fellow board members mentioned a lot of the specifics of the contract, like the starting salaries and so on. I just want to say that you cannot say that we cannot pay our teachers enough and then not pay them. So you either support the teachers or you don't. If you vote no in this contract, it means you do not support our teachers. It's as simple as that. So I would definitely vote yes, because I think we have the best teachers and we need to support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Polly. I'll comment briefly. People made a lot of great points about the positive result from the negotiations. I'm extremely appreciative of the extensive time that Ms. Horner and Ms. Khan and Ms. Stone put into the negotiations. It was a lot of hours, and there was a lot of complexity in this negotiation, far more than we could discuss tonight. The board was kept apprised of the negotiations and the details and the issues being discussed all along. I didn't really hear a lot of objection or concern up until now, to be honest. I think it's really a positive achievement of a 5-year contract that's going to, as was mentioned, provide stability. It'll also provide predictability for the biggest line item in our budget. I want to, in addition to Ms. Horner, Ms. Khan, and Ms. Stone, Mr. Rapp and Mr. Spring did a terrific job. Dr. Sanko stepped in when it mattered and really showed a lot of leadership in bringing this home, and I really appreciate the work by our solicitor, Mr. Musso, and the team from his law firm. They did a terrific job. The result is very good. And if we talk about students first always, there is no more important element than our teachers and ensuring the quality of our teachers. And I think this contract goes a long way. As I said, there's a lot of complexities. They're small things that add up that make this a very good contract. And if people are interested, they can ask questions. But this is definitely a plus, and I'm thrilled to vote for it. Are there any other comments or questions? Yeah, Ms. Scott.
I guess I forgot in my comment earlier that Ms. Seki did speak to it, and Mr. Hickey. The other, I know it was a point that Dr. Zanko and this administration felt strongly about, and I know we've talked about it as a board. When we talked about education committee, we talked about professional development for our teachers, and there's so many hours in a day, and that, you know, this was a back and forth. Again, small wins, meeting kind of in the middle, that we were able to get additional professional development days for our teachers and our staff, which I know for the administration board is very important. I don't know if Dr. Zanko wanted to speak any more specifics about that, but I think it was over the course of the next couple of years. I forget, it was one professional development day starting next school year for the 25-26, and then one, okay.
1, 1, 2, 2, 2.
Okay, that's okay, thank you. So for a total of?
We will go, currently our teachers have 189 teaching days. Next year they will move to 190, which will be the 25-26 school year. The 26-27 school year will be 190, and then for the duration of the agreement, it'll be two additional days, which makes us 191 teacher days, and that really puts us in the middle of the pack across the county.
Thank you, thank you.
Great achievement.
Thank you. I'll be brief. This contract was not between paying teachers and not paying teachers. This contract was between paying some teachers more, or actually paying all teachers more, but some teachers even more than that. I just wanted, as somebody that is not supportive of this contract, I just felt that it was important to make this clear that I do support education and I do support teachers, which is why Council Rock pays teachers substantial amount. And I do wish that it could be, that we could pay them even more. So this is not a zero-sum game of whether we're paying teachers or whether we're not paying teachers. I think that is an oversight of our position that Mr. Hidalgo and I have. Thank you.
Sure, so, I mean, we're all having our discussion here, should focus on our opinions of the teachers and stuff like that. For Ms. Polly to say that if you vote no, you don't support the teachers, that kind of mindset is what's wrong with this country, and I'll be very happy that she didn't run for re-election. Thank you.
I have one comment.
Ms. Horn.
Yeah. We have every right, we're one of 9, and we have a choice, we have a decision to make of yes and no, and we have that duty to do. We are elected officials. So we have a right to do that, and it is in our right and our duty to do it, the vote the way we want to.
Couldn't argue with that. All right, if there's no more comments, could we have a roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary?
Ms. Polly?
Yes.
Ms. Horner? Honorable yes. Ms. Khan?
Yes.
Mr. Hickey?
Yes.
Ms. Oseki?
Yes.
Mr. T?
Yes.
Mr. Hidalgo?
No.
Ms. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Roosevelt?
No.
Okay, that is 7 yes and 2 no's.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Congratulations.
Congratulations, teachers.
Congratulations.
Thank you for all your work.
Yeah, I think a thank you is in order to the, again, I think somebody mentioned their appreciation for the Council Rock Education Association's professionalism in negotiating this contract. I wish I would have said that earlier, but, so thank you to our colleagues at CREA. We also want to thank the fire department, don't
We do. So, I just texted Dave Boyle, the president of CREA, who led the charge for the teachers, and it was a pleasure working with Dave Boyle and his leadership on this project. And we also would still be in the dark if it wasn't for the Newtown Fire Department sponsoring us tonight on a moment's notice with these lights, and I leaned over to Mr. Tate and I said, I wanted to put that in the superintendent's report, and it slipped right by me, so thank you to Newtown Fire.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's nice how people pull together to make this happen. Because we had this contract, and we also have another extremely important item, the proposed final budget. Ms. Oseki, would you make the motion, please?
I would love to. I move to adopt the 2025-2026 general fund final budget.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Hickey. Comments or questions?
I'll go.
Ms. Horn?
Although I was really glad to see that we are not at Act 1, there are a couple of things that, I can't vote for the budget because I'm concerned of the sustainability and making sure that we stay focused on our expenses and what we're doing. Especially, I voted the no for the full day kindergarten because I asked for it to be pushed off a year because I wanted to make sure financially, efficiently, and effectively. However, it is going forward, which is fantastic that this administration worked so hard to do. And that's what we want. At the end of the year, we want it to be effective, to work and roll out fantastically. But it concerns me that it's not the agenda of really making sure that we have to be fiscally responsible. So I will be voting no for this budget.
Thank you. Ms. Polly?
Yes, so when we budget less than 3% and so much significantly less than the Act 1 index that a lot of other Bucks County schools go for, or even higher, our neighboring districts. And we also, although we budget conservatively, we still have I think it's $7.8 billion deficit. So this is a fiscally responsible budget. We have to provide for our students. The inflation index is much higher than that. So our expenses grew at a much higher rate than what we proposed to vote. We're able to provide almost 9 additional teaching positions. We're able to provide full day kindergarten that are community supported and voted for it in our surveys, and they embraced when we have our meetings, and they're very excited about. And we will be able to provide full day kindergarten in a very successful way that we make so many young kids ready for their education going forward. So we are fiscally responsible because a budget of less than 3% under these conditions, where we're able to meet the needs of our students, is an excellent way to proceed. And I'm hoping that the deficit will be able to cover by the end of the year, because we're fiscally responsible. Mr. Rabb, I have very confidence in Mr. Rabb and Dr. Sango, the way they create the new budget. So I think that we need to support the administration's position, and we cannot just, out of the blue say, oh, I want this percent increase because I think it's reasonable. We have to look at the numbers, we have to look at what is required, we have to budget conservatively and responsibly, and I think this is what they did. So I will support this increase. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Mr. Hickey?
Yeah, Mike is here first.
I'm sorry, I know it's a little dark in the room today. Yeah, in previous, I think the deficit this year, without having full electronics, is in the area of $7 million, which is the highest. It's almost even 8 maybe, right?
It's under 6.5.
It's under, Mr. Rapp, can you?
The deficit is, $6,400,000 or $399,000.
About 6.5, okay. And was there a recent time in the past, I don't know, 5 years perhaps, that you have?
In 2015-16, there was a deficit of $6.5 million, or $6,499,000.
2015?
2015-16, yes.
Right, okay. But since then, for example, 3 years ago, I think the deficit was like 800,000. Or under $1 million.
I don't know, I know, so 23, 24, it was about 3 million.
Right, okay.
This year, it was about 2 million. Going back years prior to that, I don't have internet connection anymore, so I can't get on, but, it was about, we were averaging, after that $6.5 million deficit, we were averaging about $4 million for about 5 years.
Okay.
And I think at one point it went down to 800,000 during, I believe it was a 1920 year.
Okay, so the point, I believe, is that since 2015, this has been the highest deficit the district has carried, substantially higher in some cases. I have a recollection, without having that in front of me, perhaps 4 years ago, that it was closer to $1 million. But in any case, not to miss the point here, some at those times called the budgets at that time fiscally irresponsible. And now that the district is back up to a $6.5 million deficit, interestingly, this district has $6 million more in its expenses than it does its revenues. Apparently now it's a fiscally responsible budget. The concern, of course, is because of conservative budgeting, will the district be able to, once it's resolved later on in the year, will it audit out to be a surplus or a deficit? This time of the year always shows, because of conservative budgeting, where the district overestimates its expenses and underestimates its revenues. When everything is wrapped up, those get tighter. So that makes a lot of sense. That is responsible. But at this time of the year, the budget has been considered irresponsible with less or fewer numbers, and now it's being considered as responsible. I agree, this is a responsible budget, as was previous years. I am not in favor of raising taxes. I think that this is a cautionary tale, as said publicly in the most recent and in previous finance committee meetings, that we must be careful to live within our income. And governments are typically able to just raise taxes to increase the revenues. And that's not always the answer. I think this administration has done an amazing job of not only going back through all departments and all buildings, including their own, to sharpen the pencil and figure out how we can make this as effective as possible. And Council Rock has been in a wonderful position for years of being a good steward of finances, and that continues. However, a couple of years ago it was less than 2%. Last year was 2.6, and now we're looking at 2.93, which is effectively 3%. And next year, projected Act 1 is looking at 4%. So while this year the district is well within Act 1, which I think is something that's very important, districts, I believe, should strive to be within Act 1 index to control their own destiny. To be in a position where Act 1 jumps around as it does, and having a district up to the point of where the district requires to get close to balance, an Act 1 index, and then have Act 1 go down 1%, which is going to happen next year, doesn't leave the district in a position to control its own finances, and I believe that is a concern. So just raising revenue is not always the answer. So this This budget, while I think has worked, is curious how the, some of the words are flipping. So I anticipate voting no for this. I could also have gone up to 2.5%, but I'm concerned with this trend. The overspending is going to continue, and it's very difficult on our seniors, it's very difficult on those with fixed incomes, and it's very difficult on members as the per capita individual pay is around 60 grand, or maybe up to 75 in our district. This puts a burden on people, and I believe school districts should do the best that they can, and boards should challenge the district to provide the best education that the community can afford. I believe also that our taxes should be consistent and predictable without wild swings, even if over a trend of a couple of years. And for these reasons, I am not able to support this budget. But that does not take away from the work that was done by the administration. It's wonderful to be able to count on the numbers that are being provided. Mr. Rapp and his department, Dr. Sanko, with his ability to go into all the departments and reduce what the initial proposal was down to what it is, and then figure out even a way to reduce further, should be commended. But I'm unable to support this budget this year. Thank you.
Ms. Stone.
Yes, hi. I agree, we never want to have to increase taxes. But we also have to recognize that the Act 1 index is in place as a guideline for the school districts to allow them to go up to that Act 1 index, recognizing how the costs have increased. The Act 1 index is around 4 this year, and we've managed to keep the budget under 3. And that is, and we're running that tax increase with that $6.4 million deficit, so that as we don't increase, so we keep that tax increase under 3. We've talked before, you're conceding that you recognize 2.5% would be okay. Well, that 0.5%, according to average, the average household in the community, 0.5% amounts to less than $40 per year. It was 60 for a whole percent for the average person in the community. So I think an extra, that you're not willing to part with that extra $35 or $40 a year in that tax is not hurting the seniors, fixed income. I am one. And again, to remind everyone that if you are on a fixed income, there's the renter's rebate and a tax rebate, both from the state of PA and from Council Rock. It again approves that tax rebate, which can bring up to, it's about $1,000 or more from the state, and the same from the district. We're talking about an additional 0.5%, which is only about $35 or $40 per household per year. And I think that the budget work, we've squeezed that as much as you can. I mean, 70% of the budget is teachers' pay and benefits, administrative, it's all, a lot of it is salaries and benefits, which we agree we must pay, but we're not going to fire teachers. We've had the administration and our parents and the community ask for more teachers, better education. And we're doing that. They've asked for a kindergarten, we're doing that, and we've managed to do all of these things, keeping that tax increase under 3%. I think it's amazing. I mean, we have to feed the kids, we have to transport them. We have buildings to maintain, electricity, we have phones, we have, these things are not, there is nothing that can get cut from the budget in order to provide the education that the kids need. And Mr. Rapp and his department have been taking the abuse from the board, telling them cut it, cut it, cut it. And he's done an amazing job. And I think we're doing the best for the kids, the community, and the taxpayers. It's naive to think that there's never going to be a tax increase. Just like, and we may be increasing taxes, but just think about those homeowners, what your home value is, because we have such a great education system. So of course I'm going to be voting yes for the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. Mr. Hick?
Yeah, first of all, thank you to Mr. Rapp and your entire staff for the work that you put into it. It's never an easy job. To Dr. Sanko and your administration for going through their budgets with a fine-tooth comb. There's a lot of great things in that budget. You know, adding learning support, English language support at the middle schools is a wonderful thing, and the staff that we are adding. I would say maybe this is a symbolic vote or whatever you want to say. I mean, I know Ms. Stone makes light of the fact that, you know, it's only $35, and I believe that number is incorrect because I believe we were told last year it was closer to 70. The tax increase just for kindergarten. The thing you have to remember with kindergarten, we paid $70 last year in taxes, which you're now also paying this year in taxes. And in addition to that, we're going to add another $70 to that. So it's not $35, it's north of $200. And for some people that may not seem like a lot of money, but for a senior citizen, that is a lot of money. And yes, the property values of the houses can go up, but you also need to stay in your house. If you can't afford the taxes, you can't stay there in the house that you have. When we voted on all-day kindergarten, I would agree with Ms. Horner that I thought that it should have been delayed, or maybe like we do with our books and everything, maybe we should have run a pilot first. I'm not entirely convinced that educationally it will have the benefits that everyone thinks. But yet we hired 25 new personnel in order to do this. Maybe what we could have done was hire a few more instructional support people for our English language, for our math at the elementary school. Maybe save our dollars a little wiser. Like I said, I just voted for a teacher's contract because I do think our teachers, for the most part, and that number most is probably at like 98%, are phenomenal, that do a great job, that educate our kids. So why wouldn't we have more of those as opposed to kindergarten, where I'm not sure that educationally we're going to get the benefit that we might have gotten from maybe hiring some more staff to help. Without hiring 25 more people, maybe we could have hired another 25, and that would have brought that budget down to below 2.5%. You know, like you said, can we not raise taxes at all? Yes, I agree. It's hard to not raise taxes at all, especially with expenses. I don't think we should raise taxes to the Act 1 just because we can. No, I think we need to be smart with how we spend our money. We need to spend it wisely. We have some tough choices coming up that are going to affect all this. And for me, being at 3%, like I said, I was against the 2.6% increase last year for the same reason. So there's really no way that I could support a 3% tax increase this year when I know that we could have had that down to below 2.5% and still accomplished all the goals that we needed to do educationally. So, like I said, I'm most likely going to be a no vote for this, and like I said, it might just be symbolic for those senior citizens, of which Ms. Stone and I, and I'm not sure about Mr. Tate, but we're all one of those. And like I said, I have people that come up to me, my neighbors ask me about it. You know, they talk about being able to stay in their homes. My neighborhood is starting to change over because a lot of the people in my neighborhood are actually older than I am, and they worry about staying in their homes in the neighborhood that I live in. And I live in a modest neighborhood, it's an older development, and it's wonderful. And these people don't want to leave, and in many cases now they're being forced to. So like I said, if only for the senior citizens, I'm gonna, you know, my vote would be no for them.
I'm just gonna speak briefly. I know we're waiting on our lights here. I want to thank Mr. Rapp and his department. I think we all know that expenses have gone up, and we sit in these facilities meetings, these finance meetings, and you know, Mr. Rapp very smartly will say, like, this is what we paid last year, and this is what we paid, or this is what it is this year, and 9 times out of 10, you know, this year is higher, and usually not by 2.93%, usually by more. So we know our expenses are going up, and I think that the administration worked really hard to produce a budget that accounts for expenses increasing without cutting programs. I would be willing to cut programs. If anything, I feel uncomfortable budgeting for the highest deficit in the last 10 years. I mean, I look at it that way, and that makes me nervous. But I will be voting yes on tonight's budget.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Hunt.
I guess I would just echo and add a couple things to the statement. You know, I've said in previous meetings and education committee meetings and sitting through the finance and facilities that great schools or great school districts make great communities. You know, I, along with I'm sure the rest of the board, you know, don't take this budget process or tax increase lightly. I completely recognize the burden it may have on certain individuals within our community. I know that Mr. Rapp has done an excellent job explaining in all our finance committee meetings, you know, as Ms. Oseki just stated, that all of our bills continue to go up. You know, there's a 30% increase in goods that we're purchasing that are needed to run the school district, and a 4 to 6% increase in all of our services. I don't know how to avoid some sort of tax increase. I know we started this financial budget process this spring with, I believe it was approximately a $14 million deficit. And Dr. Sanko and his administration, he went back in and asked every department, every person to go back in with a fine-tooth comb and just kind of, you know, take out what they could to close that gap in the budget and deficit, and went from the 14 million to 6.4. Again, I'm not super comfortable with that, but without cutting educational programs or cutting teachers, I don't know where else we're supposed to magically find this money. So I will just conclude that, you know, we've added a lot of support staff, teaching positions, supervisors, curriculum coordinators that all of us here and the board have discussed and wanted, and community members have wanted. Our special services continues to grow. We have, in part of tonight's budget and part of the budget for the 25-26 school year also includes, as Ms. Oseki has stated earlier, that 8.8 full-time teaching positions that include literacy specialists that would get a Wilson certified teacher in every building in our school. Those are things that we, you know, have said as staff, as community members, that our students need, for those that are struggling and those that need to move beyond. This also includes needs at the high schools based upon their program planning. In addition to, I think, 1.5 additional administrative staff for, again, needs that the administration is asking for this evening. So again, I don't know where we're supposed to cut in terms of getting us to, you know, 2.5. That means we're gonna cut all those literacy specialists, or that means cutting full-day kindergarten. Which again, we have discussed that these are things that the community wants, and this would be the best at putting students first in our community. So I would be supporting, not taking it lightly, but supporting the budget. Thank you.
Ms. Gunn. Ms. Polly?
Yes, I would like to make an additional comment. Listening to everybody's comments about this, I believe it's disappointing. It sounds like this is a politically motivated vote. And so what do you want to cut from the budget to make it less? Because this went through extensive discussion and there are fixed costs that you cannot change. So to cut the budget that we pay, most likely, because as you know, this budget doesn't go for like renovations and things like that. We use like a different system for that. So you want to cut position. So you cannot say, what can we do? How many teachers? What can we do to help the district and keep our students first, and then not vote for the positions that we need? And then full-day kindergarten is, if I'm correct, 0.57% last year and this year. And if we didn't vote in for this year, then it would have to happen in the future, probably like the higher percentage. So, for those who attack full-day kindergarten, which is extremely popular in our community, and also choose not to vote for this budget. So one, you chose no for full-day kindergarten last year, and by not voting for this budget, you choose not to support full-day kindergarten again. So just for the public, I want them to understand, when you knock on doors and when you discuss with the community, that you do not support full-day kindergarten again by voting no for this budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Polly. Are there any other comments on the budget? If not, Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call vote, please? If you can see.
Mr. Roosevelt?
No.
Ms. Stone? Yes. Mr. Hidalgo?
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Germany for now.
Mr. Tate?
Yes.
Ms. Osecki?
Yes.
Mr. Hickey?
No.
Ms. Khan?
Yes.
Ms. Horner?
No.
Ms. Polly?
Yes.
That's 4 noes and 5 yeses.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. That's finance. The board is agreeable. We're going to move to Education Committee because of the contracts that are on the agenda. Does anybody object? No, we'll move to Education Committee. Who do we have? Ms. Hunt?
Should I try to shorten my
I
report?
think that's,
Okay.
given that the batteries are dying.
Sure.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So good evening. The Education Committee meeting was held on May 22nd at 7 p.m. here at the Chancellor Center. On the evening's agenda were proposed program pilots and course changes, discussion of the continued planning for structured literacy, staffing requests, and updates in special education and full-day kindergarten. I will skip around here. Ms. Renee Devlin and Mr. Patrick Bound, our new math coordinator, came to present and answer questions about the proposed pilot programs for the 2025-26 school year. The proposed pilot programs are available for public viewing for 30 days, as they are every year, and they just need to schedule an appointment with the administrative office. They're also posted on the website, which is where I looked at this afternoon. The majority of the proposed textbooks are for math and science for grades 7 through 12. There's also a first grade science pilot program for 3 teams of schools for next year, including Holland Elementary, Richboro Elementary, and Seoul Finestone. That should kind of wrap up the updates to align with the new PA Science Steel standards. For Council Rock, Mr. Bound also presented the math pilot programs and stated that the math program review began back in December. It was concluded that the programs were significantly different and not cohesive as students progressed through the grades, specifically in the middle into the high school. Part of the selection process included a teacher survey, vendor presentations, and they narrowed the selections through a teacher committee. It was noted that some of the programs were also being retired, necessitating a change. I wanted to note that it seems that we approve a lot of textbooks. It was noted that the average academic program or lifespan of the textbooks is about 10 years. Some of the science textbooks that have not been updated since 2008. So I appreciate Ms. Devlin and Mr. Bound coming to present and answer board questions. Ms. Tammy Gary also came to present about the upcoming legislation about the structured literacy program, that we're concluding a science standards update, and potentially some updates she'll come back to us and I think, discuss later on regarding some course changes in the family consumer sciences potentially for the state. Staffing requests, I already discussed that part of our budget, which we just voted this evening, included 8.8 full-time teaching positions in literacy, 2 at the middle school specialists, literacy specialists, 4 elementary school specialists, 0.8 at Council Rock South and 2 at Council Rock North for teachers based upon each individual school's and programming needs, along with an additional shipper and receiver at a high school and a 0.5 for payroll employee for the business office. And then I'll just skip to special education. I know Dr. Oberman presented his first 30 to 45 days. His initial goals were to meet with teachers, students, families, and visiting every school. He and Miss Amanda Serene, our supervisor of specialized services, a new position this year, have been working on program inventory to identify the purpose of the program and to help create equity among the various schools. I know Dr. Oberman and his team will be busy over the summer continuing work on a website for greater transparency, additional information and resources that will be available directly to families. He'll be looking at the least restrictive environment and inclusion practices in each building to implement immediate improvements along with long-term goals. Some of his 2025-26 special services initiatives we can look forward to for next year is a monthly newsletter, continued CPAC work with the families, a family guidance document, which is a family-friendly document with common language that's to provide families with information along with about the special education process from beginning to end. And then continuing work on looking at the programs to address any deficits and provide equity throughout the district. And then working on professional development training. So I look forward to Dr. Oberman presenting in the fall. Full day kindergarten, I know that the administration is continuing to work and we're on schedule, and I believe all the staff and teachers have been hired. So we're excited for the 2025-26 school year and our first year of full day kindergarten here in Council Rock. I'm going to conclude there. I did want to just recognize Goodnoe Elementary School for having the #1 ranked second grade team for first in math in all of the nation. There's millions of players, districts around the country participated in it, and I know Goodnoe Elementary as a school ranked #3 in the top 500 students for participation. So kudos for that. That's a huge recognition. Congratulations to all our 2025 graduates, and congratulations to our staff and teachers retiring this year. I wish them health and happiness as they embark on their next chapter. The Education Committee meeting will not be meeting until the fall to allow administration to work throughout the summer to get ready for the next school year and full day kindergarten.
For the motion coming up,
Yes.
would you amend it to consent item B through O?
Correct.
At the request of a board member?
Absolutely. So I move to.
Pardon me?
Please also hold B, so that it reads.
Okay.
C.
So that makes it C through O.
All right, so now I to approve items C through O as contained in the attachments to this agenda.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Moore. Are there any objections, questions, comments? Hearing none, please record it. Madam Secretary, it's passing unanimously. Item B, please, Ms. Cron.
I move to approve item B as contained in the attachments to this agenda. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I move to approve the 2025-26 textbooks presented for approval at the March Education Committee at a total cost of $1,184,595.81.
Good. Comments, questions?
I'll just be brief. My comments are the same.
Oh, I didn't get a second? I thought.
I'll-
Okay, great. Thanks, Mr. Hickey, thank you.
I'll just be brief. The comments are the same as before. I have the issue with the American History Day.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Ms. Polly?
Yes.
Ms. Warner? Yes. Ms. Khan?
Yes.
Mr. Hickey?
No.
Ms. Oseki?
Yes.
Mr. Tate?
Yes.
Mr. Hidalgo?
No.
Ms. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Roosevelt?
No.
6-3.
Thank you. Ms. Khan, item P, please.
Okay. Let me just double check. I move to approve the attached settlement agreement between parents and CR subject to audit.
Second.
A second?
Thank you. Comments? Sir?
You care about the same thing.
Yeah.
Public comment, if we want to discuss it, we do it in executive session.
Yeah. All right, you're right, no discussion. Requested? On.
I request it.
You want to go to executive session?
Or you want a roll call vote?
Roll call.
I'm good with roll call then.
Thank you, very good. Madam Secretary, thank you.
Mr. Roosevelt?
No.
Ms. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Hidalgo?
No.
Mr. Tate?
Yes.
Ms. Oseki?
Yes.
Mr. Hickey?
No.
Ms. Khan?
Yes.
Ms. Warner? Yes. Ms. Polly?
Yes.
6-3.
Thank you very much. Normally we have reports from the Bucks County IU, MBIT, and Council Rock Education Foundation. Do we need to have those reports this evening?
I can do it real quick.
Go,
I'll do it real
please.
quick.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
I'll do MBIT real quick. Congratulations to all 2025 Council Rock South, North, Sloan, and MBIT graduates. Best wishes and much success in the next chapter of your life. Whether one chooses college, military apprenticeship, or business or trade employment, the future is yours to make. To the Council Rock staff, administration, teachers that made the graduation seamless, it was much appreciated, and the celebration events were well received. MBIT graduation was held on January 3rd. There were 313 graduates in total, and 55 were Council Rock graduates. Dr. Senko, Mr. Funk, many Council Rock principals and assistant principals, as well as Bob and I, were present to celebrate the Council Rock graduates. See, Council Rock was so well represented. Thank you for all your support and your attendance. As a reminder, MBIT will not be holding summer sessions due to the major summer project of redoing the floors throughout most of the school. They will be completed. Please note, starting in the fall, MBIT will start an education foundation which will be in support of the Career Technical Education School. There will be a series of fundraising initiatives, including community events, alumni campaigns, and partnership with local businesses. This goal is to raise funds for financial support for students, essential resources for teachers, and equipment that will enhance the learning experience at MBIT. Together, we can help create a skilled workforce and open doors for our youth. Also, for all the recent graduates and our longtime alumni of MBIT, an alumni association is being started. The kickoff meeting of the Alumni Association will be October 8th at 5:30 p.m. One can sign up on Facebook for the MBIT Education Association and/or the MBIT Alumni Association. We look forward to growing the alumni outreach in our community with MBIT. The next MBIT meeting will be held on Wednesday, July 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Warner. What's coming on you?
Yep, I'm just gonna be super duper brief. We've met twice since the last Council Rock board meeting. The IU had 55 graduates, so congratulations to those individuals who completed their education with the IU this year. The IU has also recently received two very impressive grants. The first one was a $135,000 grant for their Grow Your Own Teacher program, and the second was a $450,000 grant for expansion of the mobile Fab Lab. I know we've been lucky enough to have the Fab Lab visit our elementary schools. This is going to provide a second mobile Fab Lab, which will effectively double the amount of students that are able to receive STEAM education through the Fab Lab. So wonderful things happening.
Thank you, Ms. Osecki. Correct. I have 4 words. Golf spots still available. All right. Policy committee. Who are we going to hear from, please?
You'll hear from me. Policy committee has several policies on the agenda tonight for a second read. Policy 206, 218, 218.1, 218.2, 219, 221, and 225, all for a second read. We also have a first read on policy 207. And I do want to note that there will not be a July policy meeting because Mr. Spring is going to be up to his neck with hiring. So we thank him for his hard work on that, and we will meet again in August. And with that, if I can find it, sorry.
That's fine.
Okay, I move to approve consent agenda items B through H for second read and consent agenda item I for first read as contained in the attachment to this agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Warner. Comments, questions? Mr. Roosevelt.
Just really quickly, I want to commend this district and this board on item B, the policy 206, assignments within district, to include the word "and" for the student's education to be included alongside of district needs. I think that's great and the appropriate final result. And number H, the only question I've got is, would these student debts preclude or prevent, I suppose is a better word, a student from graduating? Is there a number size that it would, or is 1 cent unpaid preclude a graduate from graduating?
It would not preclude someone from graduating.
Okay, regardless of the amount, or is there an amount where it gets too high?
We work with the families to make sure we're in a good spot so that kids can graduate.
I think that that's a commendable approach, and I am hoping that it can continue like that and not be abused by students and families. To date, it hasn't been, and I think that that's wonderful. So that was my only comment on that. As a parent of a graduate, I think that point should be made clear in communications to parents and more notably to the students, to make sure that they don't get the wrong opinion, that if they don't pay for a charging cord or, a lunch or something like that, they're not going to be able to graduate. That's not the position of Council Rock. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, any objections? If not, please, Madam Secretary, report that motion is passing unanimously. And now we are on facilities. Thank you. We have one item on the facilities agenda. I should announce that we have decided collectively as a board to cancel the July facilities committee. The finance committee meeting scheduled for the same date will go forward. Let me get back to facilities. I will read the motion. I move to approve the bid from Hirschberg mechanical for the Churchville Elementary School backflow preventer replacement bid 2533 in the amount of $42,400, subject to solicitor's review and audit.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Warner. Comments, questions? Hearing none, please record that motion is passing unanimously. Let's make sure that we're not forgetting anything. I believe we covered these, didn't we? Did you read it, I think so? All right,
Good.
I think so.
Tony, Ronnie, Al, and Al, Avery and Joe, different board members.
We jumped around a bit and just wanted to make sure. Public comment, is there anyone here from the public who wishes to comment? I don't see anyone.
Is that a hand up in the back?
No,
That's Christian.
And that takes us to new business. Is there any new business in the board? Is there any old business? This is marvelous. We made it through without losing life. Thanks for everybody for being so helpful and you know, cooperating and understanding. So we are adjourned. Thank you.
Please be careful walking out and into your car. Drive safely.
Good night, thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Jonah.